sightings of unidentified flying objects have become so frequent in recent years that the U.S. government can no longer dismiss them. Days ago, the Pentagon delivered this, their highly anticipated declassified report on UFO activity. Tonight, we will take a deep dive into the report and examine what it reveals about the state of our national and global security, and perhaps life beyond our solar system. This is UFOs Declassified Live. To UFOs Declassified Live. I'm Josh Gates. Normally, I'm traveling to far-flung locations around the world, investigating mysteries on my series Expedition Unknown. This evening, they've let me take a shower and clean up a little bit. I'm here in Las Vegas, along with fellow adventurer, the host of Expedition X, Jessica Chobot.
Hi, thanks for having me. Happy to be here. I am looking forward to declassifying some UFOs.
It's going to be a big night. Together, we will be tackling the mystery of UFOs, this report, the science of these aerial anomalies, and who or what could be behind them. We'll do it by deciphering the fresh-off-the-press Pentagon UFO report and the jaw-dropping footage that prompted it. We have got a rotating panel of experts to analyze everything tonight, and we want to hear from you. Tweet using the hashtag UFOs Declassified Live, and be sure to follow Discovery on Twitter to participate in our live polls. Starting us off this evening, our panel, we have the award-winning investigative journalist, George Knapp, and investigative filmmaker, the man who kicked off this whole thing with some of the most compelling images of UFOs caught on tape, Jeremy Corbell. Good to see both of you.
Nice to see you, Josh.
Yeah, thanks for being here. All right, this Pentagon report was initially requested by the U.S. Select Committee on Intelligence in December of 2020, but its roots go far deeper than that. Take a look. UFO sightings have been tracked by the United States government since the 1940s. As claims have often been dismissed by government officials, the public has no idea the extent of the activity or what it could mean to national security. However, reports of what has been described as aggressive UFO activity have spiked in recent years, especially over military institutions, putting the United States Department of Defense on edge.
Getting nuts.
These increased public sightings, along with UFO footage leaked by military personnel, has forced the DoD to change their long-standing position.
It is history-changing. It is, without a doubt, the story of the millennium.
And for the first time, they have authenticated videos of unidentified flying objects. They know that these crafts feature highly advanced technology and are not part of the U.S. military. This caught the attention of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Led by Senator Marco Rubio, they demanded a full report on UFOs for the sake of national security.
Anything that enters an airspace that's not supposed to be there is a threat.
Coming off a flurry of intense interest from the media, the report was delivered to Congress just days ago. Tonight, we identify key findings and unanswered questions. Who do these craft belong to? Adversaries in Russia or China? Is there a possibility they originated beyond our solar system? Or is there a peaceful and earthly explanation? And what does the evidence revealed in the report mean for the United States and the world? All right, well, let's get right into it. George, let's start with you. You have been investigating UFOs from ground zero here in the desert for more than 30 years. First blush reaction, what do you make of this report?
It's massively important. It's such a radical departure from what we've been spoon-fed, the lies and obfuscation we've been spoon-fed by our military and our government for decades. Behind the scenes, since 1947, our military has taken this very seriously while telling the public there's nothing to it, don't worry about it, move on. This report is only 9 pages. It doesn't have a lot of details, but it at least is a new policy direction, and it screams out 2 things to me. One is that UFOs are real and they're physical objects. 2, they're not ours.
All right, Jeremy, you have had your eyes on most of the videos that we're talking about tonight, long before they ever went to Congress. Your thoughts on all of this?
I'm highly encouraged by this report. Mainly, I'm encouraged by the disappointment from the public. People wanted more substance, more information. They don't have any videos in the public report. But what that shows me is that pop culture is grabbing onto this UFO mystery, and they're agreeing, and the military is saying we should study this phenomenon scientifically. That's what the report says. This requires study.
George, I think you probably know better than anyone as an investigative journalist how secretive the government can be on the topic of UFOs. Why the sudden rush to transparency here?
It's a combination of events. This overnight success actually started about 26 years ago here in Las Vegas. Robert Bigelow, businessman, created his own independent UFO think tank. That got the attention of Senator Harry Reid, who a decade later got $22 million to devote to a secret program that studied UFOs and related phenomena. That there was a corollary program that existed in the Pentagon that collected information, including some of the videos that we're going to see tonight, and it came spilling out in the New York Times in December 2017, and it's rolled like a snowball ever since.
I want to talk about technology a little bit here at the top. You know, in this report, there are 143 unidentified instances. A lot of those were made with real high-tech stuff. FLIR is one of them, forward-looking infrared. How does this kind of technology differ from other sensor systems?
Right. So we're living in a different world now where we have corroborative video and thermal evidence. So it's not just a pilot saying, hey, I saw a UFO. It did some amazing maneuvers. Now you have, as you said, forward-looking infrared, which is a thermal camera. You have night vision, which amplifies light. We also have radar and also just corroborative sensor data that is not released to the public that all tell the same tale about UFOs.
Okay, can I play devil's advocate here for a moment? Let me put on my skeptic hat. We've got 143 unidentified objects or instances here in this report. A skeptic might say, well, they're unidentified. You know, despite all this high-tech equipment and the FLIR and the radar, we don't know what these things are. They still look blurry and fuzzy. What do we say to that?
Well, more than half of the cases in that report are confirmed by more than one sensor. So they've got a pretty strong indication that these are physical objects. They appear to be manufactured objects. They have some kind of propulsion system that we do not understand.
And what about the possibility that these objects are, from our own planet? Could these belong to a foreign government, an adversary?
That's also addressed in here, and they have to leave those options open. In the report, they say, could be foreign-made technology, although we have no evidence of that. Could it be secret American technology? Yeah, but there's no evidence of that either.
But that's a big question, right? Could this be technology that comes from us? The U.S. military, the most advanced military in the world, do we have the technology to create objects like this?
We do not. Not that anyone I've ever talked to. I've been pretty far up the food chain, and no one says that this is our technology.
Okay, a lot more on this tonight, obviously. One of the simplest takeaways from the report so far that you're going to be hearing a lot about tonight is the term UAP, which stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. It is the official, somewhat fancier government name for UFOs. But until that catches on, you're going to be hearing both terms tonight. And right now, we are going to hear from our co-host, Jessica Chobot, who has an exclusive live interview. Jessica?
Thanks, Josh. We have got a lot of questions to address tonight, and our first guest is here to help get some answers. Joining us now remotely is Counterterrorism Subcommittee Chairman Andre Carson, who led the classified briefing on UAPs for members of the House Intelligence Committee. Good to see you, Congressman Carson.
What a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show. So I'll jump right in. Why do you feel that the report was important enough to push through?
Well, I think for me, this is a national security priority. If there is technology out there that we can't explain, that has huge implications for the safety and security of the American people. For many years, I've been urging our intelligence community to take UAPs, commonly known as UFOs, more seriously for this very reason. So I'm very pleased that we're moving in the right direction on that goal.
Awesome. So were you pleased with the results of the report? I mean, you mentioned you were moving towards the goal, but are you pleased with the report itself?
Well, I was pleased that the DNI issued a public report on this issue. Obviously, the content of the report shows that we need to do a lot more research and investigating. Even though this report didn't give us all of the answers, it's very significant because it represents a big shift in the way our intelligence community handles information.
So what part of the report stands out the most to you?
I think the size and scale of the reporting on UAPs is the most significant. Mm-hmm. The DNI report clearly outlines an initial baseline for the sheer number of UAP events. There were 144 reports of UAP events from government sources, and 80 of those reports involved multiple sensors that detected the UAP. So that's a fairly sizable number. It's not a one-off. So once in a, it's not a once in a blue moon phenomenon. Something is going on here, and we don't know how to explain it.
So with that being said, then, what do you personally believe the UAPs are?
Well, I'll say this. I think we have a lot more investigating to do before I can answer that confidently. But I think a lot of us, a lot of folks like me, would like to say that we suspect that there's extraterrestrial life, but the intelligence community says we can't completely rule that out, but it's clear we have to do a lot more digging. All of the stakeholders have to come together and put aside any preconceived notions about UAPs and really engage in a very good faith effort to study the potential security threat, obviously. So we need teams of experts across the national security space and across the intelligence community, as well as civilian reports, really studying this issue, taking input, and I think making very sound conclusions about what this could be, whether it's a threat to our national security. And where I believe I can be the most helpful is by encouraging more research and informing the public as much as we can about these findings.
Well, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
What an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh?
Thanks, Jessica.